What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Counting Wisdom podcast. I wanted to talk about how, if you're having money problems, the Christian perspective on that and what we should do. You know, if you have lived long enough past, I would say 18 years old, you realize that, you have a shortage of money. Maybe you don't notice it as much when you're smaller because you just are relying on your parents. Maybe you'll ask them to buy you something and they either say yes or no. And that yes or no type of thing is really what I would say is the introduction to realizing that you may not have what you want all the time because your parents are either saying no to something that you want, or they're maybe saying, maybe next time or not right now. And so, one thing I think is important is realizing that I think having a little bit of lack of resources is sort of normal in some cases. Now, I think it's not abnormal if you are literally, maybe walking the street and you have, only the clothes on your back pretty much, and you don't have anything else. I think that is, not where anyone should be. And I think there's definitely enough resources in the world to go around, but also, not everyone is really in that mindset to have what they need. And maybe they're dealing with mental health problems, maybe they are, dealing with different problems that prevent them from having a job and, or just a steady job, or maybe they have health issues where they're, paralyzed or something and can't really hold a normal 9 to 5 job. And so they're relying on, the government or something like that. And so, I would say that, we as people need to really take to a spiritual, aspect when it comes to money problems. I think we have to take a spiritual look at, is there demonic, satanic opposition coming to you because of your money issues? And so one of the things that I love how Jesus says that we will overcome the world through our faith in Jesus. We overcome the world. And so we don't have to let some of these problems or issues, stop us from really moving forward in life and, realizing that, Jesus wants to give us an abundant life, but it is, not always the easiest life where you don't have to work or, you can't get things that you're wanting. I think sometimes as Christians we think, oh, Jesus paid it all, so, it should be easy for me to make $100,000 a year or something like that. And we realize that you still have to, work and do things that are, the way of procuring more and more funds, which is, i.e., working. Now, I do think that there are, different evils that are going on in the world, or sufferings that can really prevent us from working as much as we want to work, or maybe you like a job, but it's not really paying you that much. Maybe you feel like your employer is just not treating you right. And so there's different reasons why you may have low income. And so one of the things I think we have to try to do, which is hard, is not letting a lack of resources give us a love for money, where we are now scrounging to do everything we can to get more and more money, because we have this memory or this thought about how we have had a lack of money. And so because we've had a lack of money, we have this thought of, oh, now I need to try to get rich because, I know what it's like to not have anything. And I think that's a trap too, is, really letting the resources control our attitude, control our life, and not allowing us to enjoy life because we have a lack of resources. Now, I think there are different educational things that we can do to really learn how to get more income or how to get more money. I wouldn't say that, we always know what to do in these situations. I wouldn't say we know what to do all the time. Sometimes we just, feel like we're doing all that we can, and yet, we seem like we're not getting ahead. And so, one of the perspectives I think we can try to cultivate is trying to be content, which is, I believe, is actually easier said than done. I think it's a very hard thing to do when you see the culture that we are in, especially in America, where we have such a need for resources and love for resources, where, all of our TV programs, if you watch TV, is full of, resources, advertisements, and different things that, take away contentment sometimes. And so, our culture, and especially in America, doesn't promote those types of lifestyles. I know I'm in an area where, there's no affordable, really, housing. They don't make houses that are, more affordable. And they only cater to a certain level of income. And otherwise, they want you to rent. They want you to have an apartment. And I think those types of things can get us upset, where we're just like, look at this. They can make low cost income, but they just don't. And they can, low cost housing. I said income, but low cost housing, but they just don't. And so, many people find themselves in a hard place because they feel like, hey, I can't, survive. And so, what am I going to do? I have to work, 50 hours, 60 hours a week in order to, actually make a living. And it's not even, enough. You can always feel like it's not enough. But I think that's one of the problems is that, we can always feel like we don't have enough. Even when we kind of do, we sometimes have that feeling of not having enough. And I think that's one thing that we have to fight against is, you know, uh, always wanting more and more. And it's hard to do. You see maybe a new car that comes out, you see, a new gadget, a new gizmo, and you're like, oh, that would make life so much easier, or, that would make me feel better. And the cycle just continues. So I want to look at this further in a different podcast. I only have time for a shorter podcast today, but hopefully this gave you something to think about. And I love how Jesus tells us that we overcome this world, you know, through faith in Him. And so eventually we will see victory, even though we can be facing a hard time or we just don't know what to do and we feel like life is over. There is victory ahead. And so hopefully I'll come around to this topic again. Thanks.